Welcome to Intuitive Transformations with your host, Sylvia Henderson, and discover tools, wisdom, and inspiration that will empower you to transform your life. Sylvia is an intuitive life coach and energy healer with a growing practice that is focused on empowering others to be more of who they want to be. For the next hour, join Sylvia and explore and unravel anything in the way of you creating the life that you would love to live on the OMTimes Radio Network.
Hello and welcome to Intuitive Transformations Radio Show, where you will find tools you can use to transform your life right here on the OMTimes Radio Network, the voice of consciousness. I'm Sylvia Henderson, your host, and I am here live every Sunday evening at 6 p.m. Pacific Time and 9 p.m. Eastern Time, sharing enlightening conversations that create connection soul to soul and provide valuable information and resources that will inspire you to expand into more of who you truly are so that you can step more boldly into what you love and desire to receive in your life. For more information about me and what I do, please visit my website at intuitivetransformations.net. That's intuitivetransformations.net. So I just want to share that yesterday I had the unique privilege of spending a fun-filled day with a group of really beautiful ladies at my Your Most Powerful You workshop. I had just a blast sharing that we all have the power to magically create our desires, dreams, and life experiences with joy, happiness, peace of mind, fun, and a ton of good fortune. And this is why I'm really excited for our show today, because joining me is Lee Milteer, and she and I are going to talk about how you can reclaim the magic in your life. So regardless of what you have experienced in your past, I want you to know that life is not working against you. It's actually working for you. You are not a victim. You are not under attack by anything outside in the world. And guess what? You're also not a muggle. You are actually magical, and magic is easy when you know how to use it properly, when you tap into that creative, imaginative resource of your thoughts properly. Before I have Lee join me, let me tell you about who she is and share with you some of her accomplishments. So Lee Milteer, I'm so sorry. Lee Milteer is someone who I consider to be a way shower. What I mean by way shower is that Lee has the ability to clearly show others the way to go or the direction to take in order to get to their desired destination. Lee has the ability to show others the way to success, the way to becoming a deliberate creator, and the way to a joyful, happy, healthy, and prosperous life. In her newest book, Reclaim the Magic, The Real Secret to Manifesting Anything You Want, Lee shows us exactly how to step out of victimhood and how to successfully become a deliberate creator. Lee is an internationally known and celebrated best-selling author, an award-winning professional speaker, TV personality, entrepreneur, visionary, and intuitive business mentor. She is that rare soul who lives and thrives equally in both the business world and the metaphysical world. Lee is a Reiki healer. She's a shaman, and she runs a metaphysical mystery school where she teaches students how to manifest on levels that mainstream education and business schools cannot touch. She has created and hosted educational programs airing on PBS and other cable networks throughout the United States and Canada. In addition to Reclaim the Magic, she's also the author of Success is an Inside Job, Spiritual Power Tools, and Feel and Grow Rich, as well as the co-author of many other books. Lee is a sought-after speaker throughout the world. She has counseled, trained, and inspired millions towards a more meaningful existence. And she has authored over 150 training, entrepreneurial, spiritual, and educational products. And she is also the founder of the Millionaire Smarts coaching program, where she provides advice on success, spirituality, resources to people worldwide. So join me in welcoming Lee Milteer. Welcome to the show, Lee.
Well, thank you, Sylvia. I so appreciate that. I appreciate that very nice introduction. I'm very excited about being with you tonight here.
Well, I tell you, if you just knew how excited I've been waiting for this day to come as I was reading your brand new book, Reclaim the Magic. I feel like I was a little girl waiting to meet Santa Claus in a sense.
That's quite flattering. Thank you.
Well, you are more than welcome, because I loved absolutely everything about your book. And I can definitely see, at least that's what I'm envisioning, that Reclaim the Magic is going to reach the New York Times bestsellers list, because I think people are ready for this message finally. I think that they're so done with trying to make life work and having it not work for them. Wouldn't you agree?
Well, what is the old saying, out of your mouth into God's ears, about the New York Best Time thing? We did make bestseller on Amazon, but yes, the world is feeling like that life is just this huge to-do list, and that all the power is outside of ourselves, and that life is harder and more frustrating. And it's time to reverse that, because we're becoming so jaded and uncaring about our fellow human beings. So I wanted to write this book to wake people up that there was magic in the world, and all you have to do is tap into it. And it's great fun when you do that.
It is great fun when you do that. It really is. So in reading the foreword of your book, which really that first page, when I read the foreword, I was just like, oh, I'm not putting this down. This speaks really to the depth of my soul. So I knew it would speak to the depth of the souls of others as they pick up the book. But in your foreword, you mentioned that people are experiencing an identity crisis because what used to work no longer works. And what exactly did you mean by that?
Well, I'm an entrepreneur, and I'm also a coach, an intuitive coach to a lot of top businesses, and things that just, traditionally worked for many, many years in advertising and marketing, the way we dealt with employees, the way we got new business. Things that used to work just do not work anymore. People used to, in the corporate world, climb ladders, to be successful. That's not working anymore. Being loyal to a corporation for many years and then expecting some kind of loyalty back isn't working anymore. Just almost on every level, Sylvia, things are breaking apart, and people, this makes people very afraid, but there is a good news to that. The good news is, if everything continued to work, then there would be no motivation to shift and change into a higher consciousness, into a newer frequency.
I agree.
So things have to be broken. And by the way, I'm an artist, so creativity is all about breaking through your own boundaries, breaking through what's possible. And that's what we're being called to do. And I will tell you that it can be very stressful, because everything seems broken, and people are finding a hard time feeling solace, and where is it safe? But where it's safe is in the inside of yourself, because if you're calm and you're connected to spirit and you're connected to the magic, it's all going to be fine. It's like a little turbulence in the air.
Well, it actually feels like a lot more than just a little turbulence in the air.
A lot of turbulence.
It's a lot of, because there is so much that is coming undone. And as you mentioned, people are jaded. I mean, you look at the political environment here in the United States. You look at like the things that you pointed out, that the climbing the ladder isn't working anymore. And I get that really those things, they never really worked before because it was kind of a competitive nature and it was all about competing with something outside of yourself. But so in your book, you really do provide a beautiful pathway of the journey inward, and you provide so many different signposts on how to do that and how to do that well. And one of the first things that you talk about in your book is really owning your divinity and how important that is. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Absolutely. So I always ask people, who are you really? Because, you think you're all these things. You think you're a mother, you're a father, you're a sister, you're a brother, you're a candlestick maker. You have all these labels, but who are you really? The truth is, the essence of you is a divine energy that is just temporarily projected in itself into your existing physical body. But the real you is this magnificent source of power and love. I mean, your soul, you're always eternally evolving, expanding. You're adding to your own repertoire of spiritual tools that literally help you manifest the life purpose that you came here to experience. You are a queen if you're a female, and you're a king if you're a male. And when I talk about this sometimes, Sylvia, in audiences, you see people, you can physically see them shrink a little bit because nobody's ever told them that they were magnificent or, that you should really think of yourself as your majesty. But you have this incredible ability within yourself to call forth many past lifetimes, to call in all the talents and abilities that you need. You really are this amazing creature that has no clue how powerful you are.
You're hitting the nail on the head for me. I love this, Lee. We're going to return in just a moment as we head into a break. Please stay tuned. There is so much more to come. You want to listen to this show. You want to find out how to reclaim the magic in your life, and this is the place to do it. We'll be right back.
Connecting you with the best of the conscious minds in the world. OMTimes Radio. IOM-FM. Host your show on IOM-FM, the radio network of OMTimes Media, one of the more recognized brand names in the conscious community, and is backed by the extensive marketing reach of OMTimes. Hosting a show on IOM-FM immediately connects you with our extensive dedicated community.
Welcome to The Gathering Around My Kitchen Table on Equilarium FM, Wednesdays at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Join my guests as we integrate spirituality into everyday reality with vibrant conversations, inspired interviews, and my latest channeled guidance to inspire and brighten your day. I'm Claire Johnson, and together we'll be raising vibrations across the nations.
Come heal yourself. What is healing? Healing is nothing but connecting to your all-knowing higher self that already has solutions to all your problems and is always there to guide you. Through this show, we help you to connect with that you are and help you realize the innate potential you have to heal every aspect of your life. So come heal yourself every Tuesday, 11 a.m. Eastern, with your host, Monica Goyal. Namaste.
As difficult as it is to believe, there are places in Africa where human traffickers sell albino children and their body parts for use in magic rituals. Humanity Healing International is actively working in Uganda to change this paradigm. The Albino Rescue Project finds albino children who are at risk and places them in safe schools and environments where they can learn and grow free from fear. To learn more or to sponsor a child, visit humanityhealing.org. Humanity Healing is where your heart is. Bringing a more conscious lifestyle to your world. OMTimes Radio. IOM-FM.
Welcome back, everyone. You're listening to Intuitive Transformations with Sylvia Henderson, and I have with me my very special guest, Lee Milteer, and we are talking about her brand new book, Reclaim the Magic. Before we went to the break, we were discussing something that Lee's written about in her book, The Magic of Owning Your Divinity. And she was sharing about how we are really kings and queens, and that when she shares that with an audience, she actually sees people shrink because we haven't heard that. We've never been given permission since we were very, very young to really own our power and own our greatness. Isn't that true, Lee?
Sylvia, yes, that's 100% true. I mean, our self-image is formed by the time we're 5 to 7 years old. And I don't remember anyone in my school system, my church system, my family system, my neighborhood system ever saying, "Oh, Lee, you're such a queen."
Right? Not many of us. You know, there are some of these younger kids, the indigos, they seem to own that in of themselves. But you're absolutely correct. We didn't really get that fostering when we were young.
No, not at all. And the fostering we really got was one of fear and victimhood, and that all power is outside of ourselves, and that we're just tiny little creatures that are subject to the whims of the outside world.
Exactly. And that's something that isn't true, right?
No, not at all. As a matter of fact, you know, as the king or the queen of your own life, you see, your real job is to love yourself enough to get into integrity with what your soul's purpose really is. And when you're able to live in this capacity, you will become an inspiration to all those who encounter you, because light is knowledge and ignorance is darkness. So I want you to think of yourself as an ambassador of light, like a light worker. You know, there's a consciousness in all things. And as a member of the family of light, you can implement and insert new probabilities in the chain of realities. And that's how your personal transformation can occur, that you're affecting things, and that your thoughts affect things, and that thoughts are real. And that when we imagine things, that we're actually setting up an electrical current to attract those things into our life. And then the secret, though, is really inspired action. So as the king and the queen of your own life, as you view the landscape of your reality and you ask yourself, what do I want and how do I want to be of service? And you imagine it. And then you wait for inspiration on how to take action. Now, that's where your real power is. But it's claiming the fact that I'm not just a little teeny person here on earth, that I'm actually a divine soul here, a spirit in my physical form that will allow me to nurture and treat myself well and, you know, rule your life with grace, that you'll have the confidence within yourself to be connected to the infinite intelligence. And so again, you'll know what actions to take and when to take them, because actually you're tapped into your source and you're accessing intuition as your true power. And you have to transform yourself and become your own authority. You have to stop giving away your power and letting other people control your decision making. You know, most of the world doesn't get it. Most of the world lives in a very lower consciousness level, and that you have to take back your power from what society says. And, you know, very well-meaning, but often very clueless people like teachers and parents and professionals, doctors, lawyers, government officials have influenced you, but they don't understand real spiritual power. They operate from past beliefs and left logical brain thinking.
You're absolutely right. And that's, you know, I always tell people that thinking is just regurgitating the past. Inspiration is when you get creativity.
Exactly. And I always tell people, be a scientist and an artist at the same time. Mm-hmm. In other words, research So find your heroes in life, or find people who are doing what you want to do, and really research them and find out what do they read and what do they believe in and what do they do to become successful. And that's exactly what I did in my search to find myself. I sought out those people who had magic in their life, those people that weren't born with silver spoons in their mouth, that came up and had challenging times, but really did these remarkable things that everybody else would go, oh, you can't do that. That's impossible. You can't do that. You don't have enough education. You're too young. You're too old. You're too this. You're too that. And none of that makes any difference once you set your mind to what you want and follow the inspiration that you get from spirit. And so it's very exciting to know that, because the little bit I know about you, Sylvia, and myself, we have a lot in common in the fact that we just make decisions and we manifest those decisions. And everybody can do that. It's just they don't believe they can do it, and they don't know they can do it. And so the book that I wrote, Reclaim the Magic, was really kind of this primer on here's how you do it. Here's the really ABC 1, 2, 3 steps of doing it. Just follow this process. I guarantee you this works. It worked for me. It'll work for you.
And the thing that I notice, and correct me if I'm wrong, I'm just curious if you believe as well, creativity really doesn't turn off. It's like electricity never turns off. Energy never turns off. It's a matter of which way are you focusing, which direction are you focusing the hose?
Absolutely. It's also that you can use that same mindset with your connection to spirit, which is also your creativity. Mm-hmm. Never turns off. It's just though when you're ticked off, frustrated, angry, pity party, feeling like a victim, you've shut the line down between you and that creative process, you and spirit, inspiration, and they're always on. It's us that turns it off. And so I read this quote the other day from Albert Schweitzer, and it said, success is not the key to happiness. Happiness is the key to success. If you love what you're doing, you will be successful. And that's very true about this. For us to be creative, for us to be successful, we have to be in a receptive state of mind, which is happiness and at peace and in harmony. And I grew up in a very dramatic childhood, and there was always drama. And as an adult, I realized I was very used to conflict. But conflict shuts you down from being connected to using your energy in ways that you can manifest. And I'm all about manifesting. So I know if I want to manifest something, I've got to be in harmony. I've got to be happy. I've got to be joyful. I've got to be lighthearted, because that's when the inspiration can flow.
And it's such a simple thing, but it can be so challenging for people to step into that. And I really want to let the listeners know, because I think sometimes when people like you've become so successful, you've really harnessed the power of the magic within you in a way where you're seeing the results and outcomes that you desire. Sometimes people, when they're not exactly where they would like to be, they listen and they go, oh, well, she must have had an easy life. She must have had parents that really taught her how to focus on what she wants. They always encouraged her. But you have quite a story of your past.
Yeah, none of the above.
None of the above, right?
No. My parents, God bless them. Actually, before we started the show, I shared this little secret. You said something about, I wish you'd have written the book 5 years ago. And I said, well, I had to wait for my parents to pass away. Because my parents, I'm not mad at my parents, but they really came from lines of negative thinking, alcoholism, dysfunction, passive aggression, very old-fashioned thinking, like boys are better than girls, it was like the trifecta growing up of everything that could go wrong. And it was a very difficult childhood. I almost committed suicide at 12 because life was so hard. I didn't think I'd actually live till I was 18. I actually thought my father would physically kill me. And just, many horrible things. But it was written about me not too long ago, Sylvia, that I was the least likely person to ever become successful because I grew up in this, horrific environment in the middle of nowhere. I grew up in Chuckytuck, Virginia, a mile and a half from the nearest secondary road, population 60.
Wow.
Nearest drugstore and grocery store 18 miles away. We had no money, no connections, and no role models. And yet, here I am today with this incredible bio, because you have to make a choice. When things are really bad, you can either go bad with it. You can become a victim, a drug addict, an alcoholic, a pity party person, and it's the world's fault. Or you can just get mad as hell, and you can say, I am not going to continue this chain of pain. I am going to do something different with my life, which meant that when I was in high school, I lived in the library and I read books that only adults read for the most part. Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, Psycho-Cybernetics by Dr. Maxwell Maltz, The Magic of Believing by Claude Bristol. I'd read all these things by the time I was 17 years old.
Wow.
And I had a full-time working job as a rock and roll disc jockey when I was 17. I kind of lied to him and told him I was 19, but I was still in high school and I had a full-time real job.
Wow.
And, it was just, I was so determined not to be trapped in that environment that I just did whatever it took. And when everybody else was partying on the weekends and, and all that, not me, I was studying. I was going to seminars. I was doing anything and everything to expand my mind.
I love the determination that you just shared, that because once you make up your mind, life works with you. We'll be back in just a few moments. I'm talking with Lee Milteer. We're talking about how you can find the magic of your life. Right back.
Conscious media for conscious minds. OMTimes. Being a radio host on IOM-FM allows you to build your show on a rich platform with the power of the internet to fulfill your outreach goals and connect with a very specialized and global online audience, unlimited by time and distance. OMTimes Radio will provide you with web relevance, a recognizable conscious brand, and with the standard of excellence that has accompanied every single OMTimes endeavor. Host your show with OMTimes Radio Network.
Hi, this is Angela Levesque, host of Entanglement Radio. Join me Wednesdays at 12 p.m. Eastern for inspiring conversations with visionaries in spiritual science and conscious healing. Entanglement Radio, Wednesdays at 12 p.m. Eastern. Transcendent talk for the conscious mind.
Hello, I'm Miriam Knight of New Consciousness Review, inviting you to my new show where I interview the rising stars of the conscious awakening. We'll explore the many faces of consciousness in action and intriguing perspectives on life, the universe, and everything in between. Join us each Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern on the Rising Stars Show.
Have you ever wondered how to change your love paradigm? The secret key is finding a love partnership, not just a regular connection. How do you find these? Through conscious relationships. Ascending Hearts Dating is a dating site for people like you that believes in second chances and a different type of spiritual connection. Try Ascending Hearts for free today at ascendinghearts.com and change your love paradigm. Ascending Hearts, the premier dating community for the spiritually awake. Free your mind. Expand your soul. OMTimes Radio. IOM-FM.
welcome back. This is Intuitive Transformations on OMTimes Radio, and I have with me Lee Milteer, and we are talking about how you can reclaim the magic in your life. She has a brand new book that just came out called Reclaim the Magic: The Real Secrets to Manifesting Anything You Want. And in it, she has 14 different areas that you can focus on to invite more magic within them. And so, Lee, out of all of the 14 areas that you've listed, including owning your divinity, your magical story was your personal story, but the magic of your mind, of energy, of releasing, envisioning, focus, truth, intuition, prayer. I love the power of prayer, meditation, rituals, and forgiveness. Such an important key in attitude. Which of these do you think people struggle with the most when it comes to stepping into them?
The magic of envisioning.
And why is that?
I do not know. I actually do know. I'm just, I just am so frustrated with people. So I speak all over the world. I speak to many, many audiences, and I really always talk to people about visualization, and sometimes with corporate audiences, I'm calling it, mental rehearsal, and, anything that doesn't scare them. And I say, everybody, raise your hand. How many of you use mental rehearsal or visualization every day? So 2 or 3 people will raise their hands, and then I'll go, so the rest of you don't know how to visualize, and they just look at you, blankly. So I'll go, okay, how many of you have sexual fantasies? And then, oh, yeah, well, yeah, we do that. So everybody raises their hand. And I'm going, do you understand?
Is this a room full of men?
Yes, I primarily speak to men, shockingly enough. And so I go, okay, well, every athlete, every an actor, everybody who gives a speech, everybody who does everything. I have a friend who's a brain surgeon. He says he mentally imagines. If you're a musician, you mentally go through your routines. You do that, and then you can work out all the bugs without having to work them out physically. Plus, your brain, every time you have a thought, right or wrong, true or false, good or bad, 4 volts of electrical chemical current is formed, and it goes from your conscious mind to your subconscious mind and imprints a groove. And scientists call that imprinting. And then with repetition, if you do that thought enough, that groove turns into what I call a reference. Other people would call it a belief, and you believe it to be true. Mm-hmm. And so when I decided to become a professional speaker, I imagined myself, for the first 21 days in front of 20 people, and then the next 21 days, 50 people, and the next 21 days, 100 people. And I worked myself up to 5,000 people, and then the next thing I know, I'm speaking in front of 5,000 people, and it's like a piece of cake because I'd done it so many times in my head. By the time I got there, I had lived that experience till it was very natural. And I also, because I did it, I created all these opportunities for myself because I saw myself as a big audience speaker. I now speak in front of 15,000 people. It's a law of attraction. People start calling you. They want you to, come speak for them. We are self-fulfilling prophecies. Mm-hmm. Whatever the mind of man can conceive and believe, according to Napoleon Hill from Think and Grow Rich, we can achieve. Absolutely. And if you just read any kind of really great spiritual books, just imagine what you want, and you start. Everything is a probability. Like, we're all psychic, but nobody likes to say we're psychic, but we're all psychic. Mm-hmm. But there's nothing but probabilities around you. So there's thousands of probabilities of what you could do every day. But once you visualize and you put that energy into that thought, now you tell your computer, your brain, to go look at those probabilities, to go in that direction. That's why we manifest.
That makes perfect sense. That really does. I love how you explain that in a very practical actually non-woo-woo way.
Well,
go ahead.
If I may say this, I am the most 1 foot on earth, 1 foot in heaven kind of gal, because I live in the business world, and yet I used to be like the metaphysician at night and the businesswoman during the day. And then a few years ago, I got very frustrated with that. I felt like I was being a fake because I wasn't really telling the true full story. I was just giving the business side. And then I'm teaching metaphysics in business language, which they don't even know I'm teaching them metaphysics, because I'm a bridge for most people who've been in mainstream world. If you get too woo-woo, what happens is our people just shut you down. We have to have what I call conscious languaging. So if I can talk to people in very practical ways, they will be so much more open-minded to try it. Because, look, I'm a red cowboy boots kind of gal on stage with a suit. I mean, there's no crystals and feathers hanging from my hair. I am a serious money-making baby.
Right.
But I have such an advantage over everybody else because I know this magic. It's fantastic.
So when you were talking to someone about creating the magic from within them, and going into visualization, and it's interesting because people, I do hypnotherapy as well, and people automatically assume that they don't have an imagination because as little children, they've been taught over and over again, keep your head out of the clouds, stop dreaming in that direction. It'll never happen for you. But what they don't realize is they're always using that imaginative, creative energy, but they're using it to worry about the worst case scenarios or the undesired outcomes.
Absolutely. My grandmother used to say to me, worry is like a rocking chair. It gives you something to do, but gets you nowhere.
Exactly.
And it's such a silly little ditty, but I remembered this, and I do not necessarily worry about things. What I do is I pay attention. So if there's something that catches me that I feel like I'm worrying about, I instantly start asking my guides, my spirit, okay, what solutions do I need to know about and act on right now? And so I'm prescriptive in my behaviors. And one of the behaviors I use is envision the outcome in situations that I want. So if I had a conflict with someone and I had to go in and deal with that, before I went in to do with it, I would do a prescriptive visualization process where I would literally have my heart go in and connect with their heart to create everybody's a softer heart, and then imagine that there's harmony and there's win-win and that we work through it instead of people walking in angry or upset or a chip on their shoulder. So all of this has such a practical way of utilizing and making our life so much richer and rewarding and not so fearful and stressful.
It's really interesting because it's all there's really nothing happening out there. It's our perception of what's happening and our response that creates the stress within our physical body and the sense of limitation and the sense of failure, right?
Yes, one of my books is called Success is an Inside Job. And that was my first best-selling book. And I will tell you, there's never been a truer statement in the entire universe. Success is an inside job, meaning you have to – it's not like reading – people think success is like reading a book where you start at the beginning, you go to the middle, and then you end up there. No, success is opposite. Success is you go to the end results that you want. You see it in your mind, and then you make a plan of action towards it. And it's very exciting because we are co-creating with the infinite intelligence. We're not doing it by ourselves, and we have free will, but we're co-creating. And so It's like my husband's a surfer. And he's, he loves to go and ride the big waves, but he's riding the wave and there's spirit around us like water, and we can ride the wave, but you've got to tell the wave what you want.
Exactly. And what I love about that too is that this wave is supportive. This wave wants you to succeed. So how do you help people move past their limiting belief systems, which we know are not founded on truth? But how do you help someone move beyond believing that life is out to get them because of the circumstances and even things that people have told them?
I try to get people to remember what miracles and fantastic things have happened in their life. And I get them into a state of mind of asking, what happened to make these magical miracle things that you can remember? Because everybody has them. Mm-hmm. And, how did you participate in that? And if I can show them some common denominators of how that they participated, or they were in a good mood, or, they were positive, or they'd been meditating or something, and say, okay, for the next 21 days, just create an evidence book of all, you've got to do certain things. Like every morning when you wake up, what I want you to do is create a gratitude list. And then I want you to, you are deliberately intentions are very important, to invoke from people their very best, no matter what you're doing, whether you're going into Wendy's and getting yourself a salad or a hamburger or whatever, that when you go in there, you're just getting the best service ever. And then make note of it, because what you focus on expands.
Absolutely.
And you might have had, some bad things happen to you, but you can always change that energy.
I completely agree with you. You and I are so on the same page. That's why I'm having so much fun with this interview. This is wonderful. We're getting ready to go into another break. Please stay tuned. When we return, I'm going to have Lee talk a little bit about the magic of energy, because she has something very special that she's going to want to offer you for listening in. Stay tuned to hear more about how you can reclaim the magic in your life. We'll be right back in just a moment.
The best of holistic, spiritual, and conscious world. OMTimes Radio. IOM FM. Host your show on IOM FM, the radio network of OMTimes Media, one of the more recognized brand names in the conscious community, and is backed by the extensive marketing reach of OMTimes. Hosting a show on IOM FM immediately connects you with our extensive, dedicated community.
Matt Connerton here. Join Jen Coffey and I twice a week for Matt Connerton Unleashed, a political talk show that's a little different than what you're used to. No liberal or conservative agenda here, just an honest dialogue about truth and how things really work in the world of politics. Matt Connerton Unleashed, every Tuesday and Thursday night at 11 p.m. Eastern on OMTimes Radio.
Do you want to be a better communicator? Do you want to better connect with the important people in your life? Do you want to enrich your relationships? If so, join me, Matthew Cooper, on the Positive Control System Show every Wednesday evening at 11 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time on OMTimes Radio. I'll meet you there.
Simone Milasas would like you to know that business can be fun, which is why she wrote the book, Joy of Business. What if you could have the joy of business rather than the stress and struggle? Most of the time, the only thing stopping you from a thriving business is you. In the Joy of Business book, Simone gives you access consciousness tools and pragmatic ways to get out of your own way and to create the business, life, and living you know is possible and beyond what this reality says is achievable. Business is joy. It's creation. It's generative. It can be the adventure of living. You can purchase your copy of the book through Amazon or Joy of Business website, www.accessjoyofbusiness.com. Bringing you the best of the conscious minds in the world. OMTimes Radio, your conscious lifestyle on steroids.
Hi there, this is Sylvia Henderson with Intuitive Transformations, and I have Lee Milteer here, and we are talking about her brand new book, Reclaim the Magic, The Real Secrets to Manifesting Anything You Want. I highly encourage you to get this book. And I know I have beautiful authors that come through, and I love their books as well, but this book, Reclaim the Magic, it is magical. She has been able to pull together from every different area success tools that you can use that will really help you to change and elevate your life, especially if you're hitting a wall where what used to work isn't working anymore. Then you want to have this book. In the foreword of her book, to me, as I said, she really speaks into the depth of the soul of what most people are feeling, that life has just become a to-do list, that things just aren't working anymore, and that there's answers, but you can't seem to tap into them because you're looking at the external world. What will really help you is reading this. And I've read, The Power of Thinking Big and, Napoleon Hill and a lot of the other books that Lee mentioned. But what she's done is from her years of working out there with millions of people, finding and presenting in a very concise and clear way how you can change and elevate and improve your life, no matter where you are starting off at. And Lee, you have something very special that you want to share with the listeners, being that you're going to offer one of your video programs. Is that correct?
Yes. In my book, I talk about the magic of your energy, and we never have the length of time I really like people to be empowered. So I have a program called The 5 Types of Energy. If you go to www.5 typesofenergy.com, it's a free video series, and there's a video on mental energy, physical, emotional, spiritual, and financial. And they're about 15 to 20 minutes each, but they go in great detail about how your whole life currency is this energy. And that the reason that most people have all these dreams and aspirations, but when they get home from work at the end of the day, they have no time or energy to do them, is because they haven't learned how to really manage and leverage these 5 types of energy. And so, again, www.5typesofenergy.com. It's absolutely free to you. We normally charge $97 for it, but I would like to gift it to Sylvia's listeners. And also, you can get the book at Amazon. You can get the book at reclaimthemagic.com. You can find more out about me at milteer.com. But the 5 types of energy in our life will sincerely change the way that you look at work and play. And you will ask yourself questions like, does this enliven me or does this drain me? And the truth is, that's a question you have to ask about everything, because if it doesn't enliven you, you realize things are draining you, you've got to get rid of those irritants in your life, because you only have so much energy per day. And if anything or anyone is being an energy vampire and sucking up your energy, that means there's no energy to be affectionate to your spouse or your children, or there's no extra time for you to, enact on hobbies with creativity or enjoy yourself or exercise or, really nurture yourself and be the king and the queen. It really means you are a reactor to life versus being proactive to life. So every day I know I have these 5 currencies: mental, physical, emotional, spiritual, and financial. And I love the fact that we all have that opportunity daily to really manifest in our life if we just know how to use this energy. And everything is energy.
Everything is energy. There's nothing that's not energy. I love how you said, get rid of the energy vampires. And you know what's interesting is people will go right into fear because they're afraid if I let go of what I have, then I won't have anything. And that is not true because there's another law that you talk about in your book, right?
The law of vacuum.
Yes.
Yes, that's a prosperity law. And the law of vacuum is very, very important. So, like, many years ago, I had a good friend, and she was always complaining that she, the boyfriend she had wasn't the man she wanted to marry. And I said, well, you have to break up with him for a couple of reasons. One, he's not the right guy for you. And secondly, you're leading him on. You got to let him go. But, oh, no, I don't want to be, I don't want to be alone on Saturday night. And I kept saying to her, you cannot find the man of your dreams while you're dating the one you don't like.
So true.
And it's the same thing with your jobs. It's the same thing with everything. If you really want something in your life, you have to remove the energy and the energy pattern, that means the physical manifestation of what is it you no longer want, to attract the new thing in your life, the new person, the new job, the new car, whatever it is you want in your life. And in my book, I really try to give people the confidence of you're never letting go. You're just shifting. You're shifting into a new place. And that if you are fearful, remember, fear is fantasized experiences appearing real. That's old programming, old patterns that were they're like viruses in your head. They were installed when you were very tiny to control you. Mm-hmm. But you're an adult now. You can make decisions. So you let go of what doesn't work so you can attract what does work, what enlivens you and makes your heart sing in your life.
That is, again, I'm in total agreement with you. And what I love about your book is that it's not just expounding on these concepts. You actually provide within it tools and exercises that people can use to make this shift go easier and quicker.
Yes, I don't like to read just esoterical things of what people say you can do. Okay, if I can do that, how do I do that?
Right.
Give me the ABCs, the 1, 2, 3s. Just tell me how to do it and I can do it. I'm very practical, as you can tell, and yet an incredibly metaphysical woman. We haven't talked about rituals, but in the book I give you lots and lots of rituals and prayers of things that you can do. And the reason for rituals is it just focuses your mind to attract what you want because you are doing a very intense focus. And it allows that electrical current to go into what I call the intuition network around the earth to start attracting those things to yourself because you're focusing in. Be careful about what you focus in on because you will attract what you focus. So if you think about bad stuff and what you're afraid of, you will attract it to you. If you think about good stuff, you will attract that to you.
I have to say I'm a living, breathing testimony to that. That was, I was one of those manifestors in reverse is what I used to call it. I would say I'm a great creator and manifester, just not in the direction of what I wanted. It was because even though I longed for something more positive, there was still some old programming and conditioning I had not yet ferreted out. And that makes all the difference in the world.
Yes, as a matter of fact, in my book, I really do talk about how important it is that you forgive. Just forgive. You have to just let it go. And by the way, it doesn't mean when you forgive someone or something that you condone it or you accept it or you even have to be around these people or deal with them ever again. It just means that you forgive them for you. Because when you hold a grudge, it's like your computer is running this program in the back, which slows the whole damn computer down. Mm-hmm. And it just keeps defaulting to this thing and mucks up everything. And so grudges ruin your life. It makes you old. It makes you sick. So forgive them for you.
Yes.
And the real truth is just be neutral. So it doesn't mean you have to go into that, unconditional love stuff, because that's another conversation altogether. But just go neutral, where you're just in that spot where all is in divine order. I forgive them. I release them. I wish them love and blessing. And I'm neutral. I'm going on in my life. They're going on in theirs, and all is well.
Yeah, because it's really about letting go of the judgments. Judgments are just perceptions. They're not reality. It's just a perceived belief that something should be a certain way or something shouldn't be a certain way, when, as you said, everything is perfect and in divine order. Well, Lee, I have to say that we're just about coming to the end of our show. I can't believe how quickly the time has flown by. I want to remind everyone that if you want to learn more about Lee, go to her website, Lee Milteer. It's LeeMilteer.com. And if you want to take advantage of her generous offer with the videos for the 5 types of energy, it's a $97 value that she's gifting us with, then please go to 5typesofenergy.com. That's FIVE typesofenergy.com to take advantage of this beautiful gift that she's offering. Lee, thank you so much for all of your time and sharing of your expertise. This has been absolutely delightful.
Well, thank you, Sylvia. You have been delightful also, and it's wonderful to be interviewed by someone who actually reads the book.
It's one of my prerequisites to doing a show. If they're going to send me a book, I'm going to read it.
Thank you so much.
You're so welcome. Well, everyone, thank you so much for listening. As you know, I'll be back again next Sunday, same time on OMTimes Radio Network. Signing out. Have a wonderful week and love to you all.